everybody, it's Hannah Schooner or Schooner or Later, and today I'm going to talk about backgrounds. I have had to help break down backgrounds for individuals many times, and I've been asked the question, does it matter what background I pick? And the answer is yes. Each D&D background has specific equipment, skill proficiencies, features that go along with the background, as well as personality traits, ideals, flaws, and bonds. The background you pick will help you write your character's backstory. Where did they come from? Why are they here now? Why are they the way that they are? How do they act? And so it is important what background you have, and it can really help with the role-playing aspect and really getting in depth with your character. I'm going to break down the backgrounds currently available in the Player's Handbook as well as available on D&D Beyond. You can take any background and mold it to fit your character's story. For example, the first background, Acolyte. If you choose an Acolyte, it means you grew up in a temple serving a specific deity or group of deities. If you want to take this background and make it tragic, perhaps you were orphaned and the temple took you in so you grew up there. That's just an example. If you choose to be an acolyte, then you will have proficiencies in insight and religion. You'll also have something called the Shelter of the Faithful, which means that whenever you come across a temple that also worships your deity, you will be offered shelter guaranteed. There's also a special priest's pack that you get, which comes with a holy symbol and some other religious relics. As I said, there are specific personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws that come with being an acolyte. Next, you have the background Charlatan. A charlatan is like a trickster or a con man, and if you choose the charlatan background, then you have proficiencies in deception and sleight of hand. As a charlatan, you'll be proficient in the disguise kit and the forgery kit. You'll also get to choose your favorite scheme. Do you cheat at gambling games? Do you make sleight of hand tricks and pretend it's magic? Do you try to convince people that something is way more valuable than it actually is? Do you forge documents? You'll get to choose, and therefore the equipment that you have with this background will be the tools that help you with your favorite scheme. The feature that comes with a charlatan is you have a whole second identity already established for you that you can use whenever you need. There's also the personality traits, ideals, flaws, and bonds that come with this background. Next is the criminal background. If you choose the criminal background, then you'll have a history of breaking the law. You'll be able to choose your criminal specialty, whether that's blackmail, smuggling, theft, something like that. You'll get to choose that. As a criminal, you'll be proficient in deception and stealth. You'll be able to choose a type of gaming set for gambling, and you'll be proficient in thieves' tools. The feature for a criminal is called criminal contact. You'll have one person that you'll be able to contact who acts as your liaison to other criminals. This can really come in handy if you're in trouble in your campaign or you need help breaking into something. This is a great background for a rogue or a ranger. Next is the entertainer. You thrive in front of an audience and you love to make shows in the street or perform for people for money. If you are an entertainer, then you are proficient in acrobatics and performance. You're also proficient in a disguise kit for your costume and then one musical instrument of your choice. You'll also get to choose your entertainer routine, and there's a wide variety of them. Whether you're a juggler, whether you're an actor, whether you dance, are you a fire eater, something like that, you'll get to choose one of those, and you'll have the tools needed to put on your gig and do your skit. You'll have the feature by popular demand, which usually means you can always find a place to perform. And this can really come in handy whether people recognize your name or you put on a show in a tavern and the innkeeper is like, hey, if you keep doing that, I'll let you stay for free, for example. And like the other backgrounds, there are suggested personality traits, ideals, flaws, and bonds. This is a perfect background for a bard, for example. Next is the background folk hero. If you choose the folk hero background, then it means that you came from a very small town, but you are their champion, and you are destined for something so much more. When you choose this background, you'll be able to either roll or pick the defining event that made you a hero of the people. You'll be proficient in animal handling and survival, and you'll be able to be proficient in a type of artisan's tools, whether that's glass blowing, wood carving, leather working, something like that, that can really come in handy if you need some extra money on on the side. You'll have the feature called Rustic Hospitality, and this basically means that you are one with the common folk, and you can most likely get shelter there. Next is the background Guild Artisan. If you choose Guild Artisan, it means you are skilled in a very particular type of art, and you can either roll or choose from it, such as an alchemist, an armorer, a brewer, a calligrapher, anything of the sort. You'll be proficient in insight and persuasion, and you'll be proficient in the artisan's tools that go along with your line of work. You'll have the feature of a guild membership, and you'll be able to benefit from whatever benefits that membership of the guild provides, which can be up to the DM's discretion. Guilds often wield tremendous political power, so if there's a political issue in your campaign and you are a guild artisan, then it can really come in handy with your pull with the guild. As it goes without saying, there are specific personality traits, ideals, flaws, and bonds that come with being a guild artisan. Next is the background Hermit. You lived a life of seclusion by yourself. You'll be proficient in religion and medicine, and proficient in an herbalism kit. If you choose a hermit, then you can either roll or choose from a list about your life of seclusion. Why did you grow up secluded? Were you searching for spiritual enlightenment? Were you abandoned as a child and you had to fend for yourself? Did you decide that society was a little too much for you? Just decide that, and that can also help decide your backstory. The feature that comes with Hermit is discovery. In your life of seclusion, you discovered something, whether it was your spiritual enlightenment or something you found along the way. There are specific personality traits, ideals, flaws, and bonds that come with being a hermit, and you can probably guarantee being pretty low charisma for not interacting with other people very often. Next is the noble background. It's pretty self-explanatory, but if you choose the noble background, then you grow up in a place of privilege, of power, of wealth, and you can discuss with your DM what your title was. Were you a duchess? Were you a princess? A prince? Maybe even a king, and you left, or you were a lord, and you can discuss this with your DM to decide how powerful you were. This can be very interesting as a background, because then you have to decide for yourself why you left. Why are you an adventurer? It can be a very interesting story. You'll be proficient in history and persuasion, growing up with your astute studies and learning how to get what you want. You'll also be proficient in a type of gaming set. You'll have the feature Position of Privilege, and this means that other people of wealth and power respect you, and so this can come in handy if you really need an audience with the king and he doesn't see commoners. If you flash your royal sigil, then maybe he'll think twice. There are specific personality traits, ideals, flaws, and bonds that come with being a noble, as well as a pretty heavy coin purse. Next is the background Outlander. And an Outlander is someone who grew up in the wild with the forces of nature. You'll be proficient in athletics and survival. You'll be able to either roll or choose from a list of your origin. Are you a forager? Did you grow up in the wild? Were you exiled to the wild? Things like that to also help develop your backstory. The feature of the Outlander is called Wanderer. You have a great sense of direction and geography and maps. This can be a great background for the Ranger class. Next is the Sage background. If you choose the background Sage, it means you grew up studying the lore of the multiverse, reading books, scribing, transcribing, things of that nature. You're proficient in history and arcana. You'll also be able to roll or choose your specialty. Were you a scribe? Were you a wizard's apprentice? Something of that sort. As a Sage, you'll get the feature Researcher, which basically means if you don't already know a piece of information, then you know where to find it. This is a great background for classes that use intelligence, such as wizards. Next is the Sailor background. This is pretty self-explanatory. You are very accustomed to life on a ship. You're proficient in athletics and perception. You'll be proficient in navigator's tools, and you know how to steer and drive a boat. The feature of a sailor is called Ship's Passage, and this basically means that because you grew up on the sea, you can most likely get free passage for you and your adventuring party on another ship, simply for your background and your knowledge. The variant sailor background is the Pirate, and this comes with benefits or challenges of their own. But as this background, Again, you have personality traits, ideals, flaws, and bonds specifically to growing up on a ship. Next is the background soldier. If you choose soldier, it means you grew up being trained to fight. Your technique, your swordplay, you are trained and trained well. You'll be proficient in athletics and intimidation. You'll be proficient in a type of gaming set, probably for your travels being a soldier. And you'll get to choose your specialty. What role did you serve? Were you an officer? Were you a defender? Were you one of the frontliners? Maybe even a healer? And you will be able to either roll or choose this for yourself to help determine your skill set. You'll have the feature military rank, and this basically means that simply for being a soldier and having a history of serving to protect people, you will automatically have the respect of a lot of individuals that you interact with. Again, there are the personality traits, ideals, flaws, and bonds that come along with being a soldier. Next is the Urchin background. And the Urchin background basically means that you grew up in the streets, very poor. You're proficient in sleight of hand and stealth. You're also proficient in a disguise kit and thieves' tools. As an urchin, you'll get the feature City Secrets, and this basically means you know the pattern and the flow of cities, as well as secret passageways that others may not have any idea are there. And last is a newer background that came from the campaign Curse of Strahd. It's called the Haunted One. The Haunted One background basically means that an event that happened when you were little or at a very pivotal point in your life has left you scarred. You, for lack of a better term, have PTSD from this event. This event was scarring to you and can make you question your sanity throughout the campaign. If you choose this background, then you'll get to choose between Arcana, Investigation, Religion, or Survival. You'll have the feature Heart of Darkness, and this basically means that when people look into your eyes, they can see how tormented you are. This means that people are very quick to be much nicer to you because they know you're going through something. I hope this was helpful in outlining what the backgrounds are and what benefits you'll get from choosing each background. If you're building a character on D&D Beyond and you like one of the backgrounds I've listed but it's not showing up for you, then you can always click Custom Background and copy the information over that you need. If this video was helpful to you, please like and subscribe or leave a comment. If there are any other character building aspects that you have specific questions about, please leave a comment. I would be happy to answer them. Stay tuned for more character building videos. Thank you so much.